back again then. This is starting to become a bit of a habit, sort of making videos and stuff, so hopefully you're enjoying the journey. I've decided to attack the bulkhead area next. I want to get a majority of the welding sort of bits done winter time, get all that crappy stuff done, and then hopefully, oh no, I'm not gonna, no. Anyway, right, so this is what we have. This is a removable bulkhead panel. So I'm going to get all this crappy stuff cleaned off. And so the master plan is to weld this hole up, because I'm going to run the wiring loom through the inner wheel arch. And yeah, get this marked out in the car. Get it trimmed. And there's a little lip, which I'll show you in a minute, inside the car, which we'll have to fold down first, and we can get it nice and smooth, and hopefully it'll just look like one fairly smooth bulkhead with a little dent where your carburetor is going to sit. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, so we've got the worst of the sort of surface rust off. Just going to give it a little paint this rust convert stuff that I've just recently got, which is meant to be very good. If you're interested, reviews on this is very good. From what I've been sort of using it on, the like little surface rusty bits, great. Right, let's give it a coat of that. Right, so that Janalite, I think it's called, has really done its job now. Killed all that nasty crusty rust. We don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and make a little template up, and we'll fill that hole in. Here we are, fits in pretty good. Little gap around the edge, not super duper even, but should be okay. I'm doing a little experiment with this as well to maybe help other people out. So that's the zinc primer that's meant to be fairly high temp and spot weldable. So I've only done one little thin coat on it, so I'm just gonna stitch weld this all up and see how well that paint actually endures the heat. Okay, so you might be able to see there, it's gone slightly wrong already just by doing 2 tacks. Smoothed a little bit, and now I've got it wedged down that bottom edge, so I have to grind that lower one off, give it a little adjustment around, and you can see paint standing up pretty well to the heat. That's just, like I say before, one little thin coat. Okay, so this is a strictly no bullshit channel, so I had to grind them both off and start again. So you can't say my welding's that crap really this time. So yes, and that's gone quite well, that one. So I'm going to go over on the other side this time instead of doing 2. That's pretty stupid really how I started it, but never mind. Doing 2 fairly close together and then shrinking it over there. Right, so I've offered this banking plate up into the bulkhead here. Got that bit welded up, just still needs a little bit of work on that top left hand side. It's nearly there. It's gone a bit of a funny colour because I was heating this up with a blowtorch, trying to get a bit more clearance down here, because I know I always suffered before the bottom of the carburettor nearly touching there, just in this sort of area here. So I started hammering it a little bit and I thought, oh no, just stop a sec and have a think. I think what I'm going to do is try and cut it, make it, you know, more complicated than it should be really. And cut it and try and fold that down a bit and then put a little fillet in. And it should sort of continue that funny sort of shape there. You can see the Sharpie drawing I've been doing down there. Yeah, I'm going to get it out, do a bit of head scratching, work out where I'm quite going to cut it to get the bend that I want out of it. But yeah, it should give you a bit more clearance down there, which is what we want, because we're going to weld that in. And also that bit is going to be welded in, obviously going to trim that lip off, it's going to be welded in flush to there, so it's going to protrude out a little bit more than it would do normally potentially. So yes, hopefully this is going to save a future headache by creating another one now. Okay, so what I'm thinking is if I trim down here, and hopefully that will allow this bit to roll in, I think. And then I will probably then have to trim here and here to then allow this bit to fold down, and I can make a lovely little plate to go in there that will be extremely oh look, it's a smiley face. Excellent, I think we go with the smiley face. I've butchered my little slot here, my smiley face slot. And I'm just going to go ahead and see what happens. There's the back. I don't know if you can see that on the old camera. Yeah, it is doing something. Apart from making a flipping lot of noise in the garage, it is doing something. I've made some pretty good headway, I think. Carried that sort of, well, that's almost a diamond shape, I guess, on much further down, making sure there's a nice bit of clearance. So I did have to do my smiley face cut and 2 cuts up the side there to fold that back bit in and down, and I don't think I'm going to have to put any actual additional metal in there. Got quite a bit of I don't know what you call that, scarring on the metal. I will probably try and see if I can hammer it out now it's down, or I might even no, I won't try and hammer that out. I will weld it first because it's in a good position. You can see how much more that's come out on the back there. Loads. So that should give me plenty of space, considering that that was flat. So I think that looks pretty good. Got beer on the go, so it's all good. Okay, now we're looking good. I'm just going to be super careful this time, because up here I definitely did a bit of overheating, so I'm going to just go slowly catchy monkey on this time. Yeah, and get this proper spot on. So there's going to be a bit of tweaking here and there as this heats up. Oh yeah, that's good there. That's beautiful. Right. I'll try and lock this edge in now. Right, so hopefully you can see what's going on with this weird and wonderful camera angle we've got here. So we've got a little bit over here. It just needs to come down a little ways to get follow that profile down there. This bit's spot on at the minute, so that's probably going to go wrong. Yeah, and this bit's all locked in on this side, so we're looking pretty good. It's going a bit too well at the minute, so that's normally not a good sign. I would definitely recommend drinking beer whilst welding, or not obviously at the same time. Do a little bit of welding and maybe have a beer. It makes it look so much better. So that's roughly where I want it. I don't think that looks too bad at all. That's all cleaned up, looks pretty good. So I've cleaned around the edge now. Been dicking about, making sure that's roughly in the right place, because there's a little bit of wiggle room. I went with the grinder option to take the lip down. And quite a bit of dicking about with this bit, trimming it up, and you can see the arrows. Made a couple of sort of reference marks. Try and get it back in the same place every time, which is a little bit of a fiddle. But yeah, got a nice little gap. Hopefully not too much, probably too much up there. But the rest of it is pretty good. So I think we've got a little gap there to work with, so we can fill that with weld. A bit like this bit here, keep tweaking, keep feeling where it's fitting good. Getting there now. It's coming up quite well, I think. It's got that bit at the top, so I'm having to reach around through the windscreen area there and push from the back. It's not ideal, and then just work my way up. Stupidly, I've rather left the probably the most awkward bit. I probably should have got a lot tighter first and left the bottom edge sticking out a bit more, but hey ho, you know, you live and learn. Too late now, isn't it? Yeah, so I've got to try and get this bit up here a bit tighter. So look, you don't need all these fancy tools. Look, clamp, flip round the wrong way, squishing out at the top. Got quite a few tacks on it now. I think I mentioned before that gaps not ideal all the way around, a little bit big at the top, a little bit small here and there, but it's going on quite well. Just have to keep adjusting it whilst I'm welding and just keep moving from side to side. I'm not going to do what I did before and just rush it for the sake of filming, I'm afraid, because I just end up overheating it and it'll just end up distorting this so bad, and that is not the object. We want to get it to look as good as possible, so I'll start getting the rest of these tacks on, or stitch welding, whatever you want to call it. I'll do a bit more off camera, and I will just come back to it in a minute. With it all fairly tacked in, quite nice and solid. I know there's a lot of gaps. I find it a bit easier. It's probably not the right way, but I'm going to grind those down now with the little finger sander down here. Grind them down, and that way, if I'm a little bit high in some areas, I can knock it down still without getting, you know, the weld being in the way of the hammer. Yeah, that's worth a treat. Yeah, it's gone nice and flush now down there, so that's probably the only problem area sorted. My lighting, as you can see, is not the best in here for filming, but I think we are as good as I'm going to get it without the use of filler at the moment, without spending probably more hours and hours and hours for the sake of using a tiny weeny little bit. I don't think that's going to hurt. It's come out really good. I built up this sort of left hand edge here, a little bit of weld just down here, just to make the angle a bit more symmetrical there. But yeah, I'll mix up some filler now. I'm going to call it a night for tonight. It's freezing cold in here again. Most of the sanding's done now, as you can see. Looking pretty tidy. Looking nice and smooth. Let's come around this side. Yeah, looking pretty tidy. I've still got to take out those little captive nuts, which I probably should have done before I started doing the filler, but never mind. Yeah, enjoying the process, but it is flipping boring as hell. Sanding, I mean, this has taken me probably an hour to an hour and a half tonight of sanding it by hand. You can't really get in there with like an orbital sander or anything, so, but worth it, definitely worth it. Obviously see what you guys think as well of it. I want to give you a little time scale for this whole lot. So realistically, just sanding alone, probably it's taken me around 3 hours. I would have said others would probably do it quicker, but that's what it's taken me. 3 hours. What have we done on the rest of it? God, welding, and then more welding. Oh, I reckon you've probably got 7, 8, maybe even 9 hours in it, I would have thought. But worth every second, I think, because I think that looks pucker. let me know in the comments what you think. It's great to hear from you all, and thanks for watching again, everyone. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one. I know it's been a bit of a long one, but there's been quite a lot of, you know, stuff to do for this particular bit. Really pleased with how it's come out. Yeah, like I sort of set myself quite a high bar on what I want to achieve, and I think I've probably done that this time for a change, because yeah, skill level and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, really pleased with how it's come out. Go and have a look at some of my other videos because they're fairly similar, but this is probably the better one, I would have said. And subscribe for more if you want to see some more videos like this. And next time I shall be working out where we're going to route the wiper motor and the little wiry linkage that goes for it. So I'm going to route that inside the car and then drill a hole through the bulkhead, run that on the outside so you can't see the motor. Bit OCD, I know, but it should tidy it up a bit under there because it does look a bit jumbly under the bonnet quite a lot on minis, I think. So yeah, if we can do that, that would be great. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you all next time. Thanks again.